Concord Prime's central arena pulsed with life. Not organic life, this wasn't the place for nature. This was engineered spectacle. From tiered viewing balconies that spiraled like a wasp's nest, thousands of beings pressed forward, their eyes fixed on the circular pit far below. Spotlights cut through mist. Hollow banners flared. A voice boomed from nowhere and everywhere, translating into over 60 languages at once. Behold! The Bone-Stalker. Apex of the Threxian hunt worlds. Feeder on flesh, breaker of minds, Kha'Ryn. A sound rolled through the crowd, not cheering, not applause. It was hunger. Bloodlust. The kind that needed no translation. Jack Revenant didn't clap. He didn't blink either. From where he sat, level 14, row G, seat 6, he could see the monster clearly. 8 feet tall. Skeletal armor fused to flesh. Blades instead of claws. And eyes, those cold, sulfuric pits that didn't search the arena, they scanned it. Every twitch, every heartbeat in the crowd, registered. Jack leaned back in his seat. His coat was old spacer leather, faded. No insignia. No weapons visible. Just a tablet in one hand, thumb casually brushing the data scroll. He wasn't here to fight. He was here to observe. To catalog the behavioral rhythms of a newly arrived predator species for the Galactic Threat Registry. Class 9 Sentient Hunter, Jack murmured under his breath, logging the way Kha'Ryn shifted weight before pouncing. Displays pre-combat ritual posture. Tracking targets before engagement. Classic fear exploitation. In the pit, Kha'Ryn circled slowly, raising its arms. The blades glinted red beneath artificial sun lamps. A smaller alien was pushed into the ring, a volunteer, Jack guessed. Some thrill-seeker looking for attention. That's how it usually started. But Kha'Ryn didn't charge. It stopped. Mid-motion. Body stiffening like a corrupted servo. The arena dimmed, sound retracting into stunned silence. Because the Bone-Stalker wasn't looking at its prey anymore. It was looking up. Right at Jack. The gaze was absolute. Not curious. Not speculative. It was the kind of gaze a hawk gives a rattlesnake, when it realizes it's not alone on the branch. Jack didn't move. His face gave away nothing. Not a twitch in the jaw. Not a narrowing of the eyes. But something about the stillness, it spoke louder than any challenge. Kha'Ryn flared its nostrils, tasting the air. Its head tilted once. Twice. Then it took a single step back. Just one. The audience didn't understand what they'd just seen. But Jack did. So did the predator. It sensed him. And worse, it feared him. That wasn't supposed to happen. Do not engage, Jack's inner voice said. You're not a soldier anymore. You're not here to prove anything. But instincts didn't die just because you asked them nicely. Kha'Ryn emitted a sharp growl, low and guttural. A challenge. Not to the arena. Not to the cameras. To him. A hologram flared overhead, projecting Jack's row by mistake. Security AI tried to correct it, but it was too late. The predator had marked its target. And it leapt. Not toward the smaller alien in the pit, but up, toward the audience. Panic surged through the tiers. Beings screamed in 50 dialects as chairs and screens shattered under the monster's weight. Jack didn't run. He dropped his tablet. And stood. A stadium attendant nearly crashed into him while fleeing. Are you insane? That thing's loose. Jack shrugged off his coat. Then I guess I'll get some fresh air. He moved calmly, like a man leaving a boring movie. The screaming echoed behind him as he slid into the maintenance corridor. Fluorescent lighting flickered overhead. Pipes hissed. The old smell of rust and coolant greeted him like an old friend. He knew these halls. Knew how predators hunted. Not with noise. With patience. With shadows. Kha'Ryn wasn't following blindly. It was stalking. Footsteps behind him. Slow. Heavy. A breath like steam. Jack turned the next corner and stopped at a junction of 3 passageways. No weapons. No armor. Just silence. From the dark, Kha'Ryn's voice came, broken and melodic. You are no claws. No shield. No mark of tribe. Why do my instincts scream when I look upon you? Jack exhaled, slow. Maybe your instincts are smarter than you are. The predator snarled, echo bouncing off the walls. What are you? Human. That word means nothing. Keep poking and you'll learn what it means the hard way. Another pause. Then laughter. Dry, ancient. You believe I fear you? Jack turned his head slightly toward the sound. Still calm. Still unreadable. You already stepped back. That wasn't belief. That was biology. A shadow flickered on the far wall. Kha'Ryn was close now. Close enough to smell blood if there was any. Jack didn't flinch. The predator emerged, barely restrained muscle, a towering silhouette of teeth and bone. Its claws flexed. One wrong breath and it would pounce. Jack raised one hand. Not as a threat, but as a warning. Last chance. Kha'Ryn leaned down, jaws inches from Jack's face. You are prey. Remember that. Then come and prove it. But the predator didn't move. Something in Jack's eyes, something deep and endless, held it there. Like a scream behind glass. Not rage. Not challenge. Silence. The worst kind. Kha'Ryn blinked first. Then it turned and vanished into the dark. Jack waited 10 seconds, then picked up his coat and tablet, both left neatly by the junction. He resumed his notes. Observation complete. Subject identified prey incorrectly. Correction applied. Reaction, instinctual retreat. As he walked deeper into the shadows, the crowd above erupted again. The show must go on. But one creature in the arena would never forget that not all predators had fangs. Some just stared. And you knew. The steel corridor stretched ahead in perfect symmetry, bare, cold, humming faintly with the pulse of a living station. Jack walked it slowly, not out of arrogance, not out of confidence. He knew better. He just knew fear never helped anyone. Behind him, the predator was coming. Not fast. Not loud. But with purpose. Kha'Ryn didn't rush. Not its style. It was a Threxian apex, trained across hundreds of death worlds to stalk prey into hopelessness. Chase wasn't its game. Dread was. And Jack understood that all too well. He turned down a darker passage, abandoned maintenance tunnels that looped under the arena. Pipes hissed. Shadows blinked. The sound of metal, clawed, deliberate footsteps, followed him like a second heartbeat. He reached an intersection. One path led toward the underdeck reactor room. The other, back into public halls. A wrong move meant civilians. Noise. Blood. Jack chose the dark. Not because it was smarter. Because it was right. A voice drifted from the corridor behind him, gravel laced with satisfaction. You run. Good. All prey runs. Jack stopped walking. Didn't turn around. No. I walk. Because you're slower than you think. Silence. Then laughter. Low and guttural. Bold. I've torn through war beasts that roared louder than you. They fought. You hide. Jack turned his head slightly, just enough for his voice to carry back without needing to shout. I've led war beasts. They were close now. 10 meters? Maybe less. Jack could feel the air change. Predators carry an atmosphere, thick, heavy, like humidity before a storm. His skin didn't flinch. His hand didn't move. But he was counting. Steps. Breaths. Distance to wall. Pipe layout. He knew how this dance ended. Flashback. A jungle moon. Mud up to his knees. The silence after a crash landing. 12 soldiers. One by one picked off by a creature that moved like a shadow and fed on screams. Only Jack didn't scream. He'd waited. Listened. Memorized. Learned. Then cut its throat with a utility knife. Didn't say a word after. Didn't need to. Present. Jack entered a side chamber, no lights, just cooling units and flickering auxiliary panels. Small space. One entrance. No traps. No exit. Perfect. He stood in the middle. Arms down. Waited. The sound of claws echoed in. Then stopped. A moment passed. Then Kha'Ryn filled the doorway. Crouched. Head low. Muscles coiled like steel cables. But no pounce. Not yet. Jack said nothing. Just stared. Kha'Ryn stepped in, slow, eyes fixed. Its weapons glinted, a dozen bone knives fused into its forearms. Its breath misted in the cold air. "Why do you not draw a blade?" the predator asked, genuinely confused. "Because I don't need one. All life needs one against me." Jack let out a small exhale. Almost a sigh. "No. All life thinks they need one." The predator's brow furrowed. Alien confusion. "Explain." "You're used to screams. To terror. That's your edge. That's how you feed." He stepped forward once. Kha'Ryn didn't move. Just watched. "I don't feed you. Because you believe you are more? Because I know I've already won." A soundless moment passed. Kha'Ryn hissed. Then lunged. A blur. Jack didn't flinch. He stepped inside the arc, ducked beneath the killing swipe, pivoted his shoulder, grabbed a coolant pipe. Hissed steam directly into Kha'Ryn's face. The predator screamed, not in pain, but in confusion. Vision blurred. Sensors jammed. It staggered back. Jack didn't attack. Didn't move. He waited. Let the creature refocus. Then spoke, voice even. This was a warning. "You blind me, dishonor." "No. I spared you." Kha'Ryn's claws clicked. Still ready. Still shaking. Eyes wild now. "You had me. You didn't finish it." Jack nodded. "Correct. Why?" "Because that's what makes us different." Silence. The predator looked at him for the first time, not as a challenge, not as a meal, but as something it didn't have words for. A mirror, maybe. A ghost. Something that didn't need to prove itself. Jack turned away and began walking toward the hall. No tension in his step. No worry. Just the calm of knowing exactly who he was. Kha'Ryn didn't follow. It stayed there. Breathing hard. Still. Back in the corridor, Jack reactivated his tablet. Calmly resumed the data log. Subject attempted intimidation through environmental stalking. Human response, control, deflection, verbal dominance. Outcome, hesitation. Retreat. No kill confirmed. He pressed send. The report would go to the threat registry. That would be enough. Behind him, a faint voice echoed one last time. "What are you, really?" Jack didn't turn. Just kept walking. Something your kind stopped hunting centuries ago. Kha'Ryn stood alone in the empty chamber long after the human disappeared into the dark. The cooling pipes still hissed faintly where the steam had erupted. Its claws twitched, not out of readiness, but out of confusion. This had never happened. Not on any hunt world. Not on any kill ground. Prey didn't walk away. And certainly not unarmed. It didn't know what to call what it had seen. Not fear. Not dominance. Something else. In the arena above, the crowd was restless. The fight had ended too soon, the spectacle forgotten. The handlers had staged a cover event, a staged duel between minor species to distract the audience from the breach in protocol. No one spoke of the predator vanishing into the stands. That would raise questions. Questions the Threxian delegation wasn't ready to answer. Jack sat alone on the edge of the outer ring walkway, high above the arena floor. Legs crossed. Tablet off. Coat pulled around his shoulders. His pulse had returned to baseline. He was tired. Not from the chase. From the memory. From the recognition. Kha'Ryn had seen something in him it didn't understand, but Jack understood it far too well. He'd buried too many men who never hesitated. Who never blinked. And too many who did. A voice buzzed in his ear, his secure calm. It was the arena authority. "Mr. Revenant, are you unharmed?" "I am." "The incident. It's been sanitized. Footage sealed. Witnesses compensated. Standard protocol. But there's one thing." "Go ahead." "The Predator, it's requesting exit." Quietly. No show. No spectacle. It left the arena floor before the backup event even began. Jack didn't smile. Not really. Did it log a kill? No. Then let it leave. You're sure? That thing won't hunt humans again. It'll hunt memory. That's worse. Below, the broadcast cameras flickered. The official feed ended with a bland announcement. Due to unforeseen diplomatic circumstances, today's primary event has been postponed. We apologize for the interruption. No mention of Kha'Ryn. No mention of Jack. But the rumor had already spread. Whispers in 1,000 dialects. A predator who scanned a crowd and backed away. Not out of injury. Out of instinct. Kha'Ryn returned to its warship alone. No ceremony. No trophies. Its bone knives were dull. Not from combat, but untouched. The handlers didn't ask. Not openly. But their gazes lingered longer than usual. In its private chamber, Kha'Ryn activated its neural recorder. Began the post-hunt entry. Its claws hovered over the glyph pad. And then paused. The usual words, "prey engaged." "Prey bled." "Prey broken," didn't apply. Instead, after a long silence, it wrote. "Target, human. Combat initiated, yes. Kill acquired, no. Reason, instinctive recoil. Unknown force." It stared at that last line for a long time. Then it changed it. "Kill denied, strategic discretion." A lie. But one that would keep its honor. At least on the surface. Elsewhere, on a quiet orbital deck above the arena complex, a Threxian child clung to the railing, wide eyes locked on the star trails. Her father stood nearby, speaking to a merchant about off-world travel. She whispered something to herself. The predator saw a ghost. The merchant, overhearing, laughed. "What do you mean?" "The Bone-Stalker. It didn't hunt. It stopped. Looked at the crowd. Looked at a man. Then it left." The merchant shrugged. "A glitch in protocol." "No," she said quietly, voice flat. "It was scared." The merchant tilted his head. "Scared of what?" She looked him dead in the eye. "Of a human." 2 cycles later, the Galactic Threat Registry received a report flagged unusual behavioral response. Jack's full analysis was buried deep in the data. Dry. Clinical. No ego. Encountered Class 9 predator exhibiting signs of dominance testing. Human non-response triggered hesitation and non-lethal withdrawal. Psychological deterrence effective without force projection. Recommend. Maintain status as observational species, threat perception remains intact. There was a footnote. Do not send soldiers. Send witnesses. The registry reviewed the footage, what little there was. and quietly upgraded humanity's psychological threat level from Class 5 to Class 7. No announcement. No broadcasts. Just quiet paperwork. And deeper respect. Jack left Concord Prime the next morning. No farewell. No escort. He boarded a long-haul freighter under a pseudonym and took a low-tier bunk. The other passengers ignored him. He preferred it that way. He wasn't chasing medals anymore. He wasn't chasing anything. A message pinged on his device. Encrypted. Untraceable. Just 4 words. What did it see? He stared at it for a long time before replying. It saw what it isn't. Later, at a refueling port in the Outer Rim, a bartender whispered a story to a group of bounty hunters. They say a predator came to Concord. Real bad one. Tried to scan the crowd for a weak kill. Found something else. What? A human. So it turned around and left. You're joking. I'm not. And here's the punchline. He leaned in closer. No one knows his name. But now the predators are asking for intel on us. Silence followed. Not disbelief. Respect. Somewhere beyond the rim, Jack watched the stars stretch into streaks through his viewport. His reflection looked older than he felt, or maybe just more honest. He didn't speak aloud. He didn't need to. Because he knew what that creature had seen. Not a killer. Not a weapon. Just a man who didn't need to fight to be feared. And that was worse than any war.